5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess. Oh, it's a mess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. It's a mess, sis. So, what exactly is a mess? A mess is a situation or a state of affairs that is confused or full of difficulties.
The mess is when things don't go the way you plan. It is when you have to go off script, improvise, ad-lib, sit through the awkwardness, and breathe through the pain until you come out on the other side, because you will come out on the other side. It is everything that makes life interesting and transformative. It is what we are here to do. It is how we learn how to be.
So, join us as we dive into this week's mess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. It's a mess, sis. I'm Jessica, co-host on my favorite podcast. I am a writer, a singer, and an overall tough-ass weirdo, a millennial woman living in LA and figuring shit out. While I've had plenty of strategies about how things would go, my life had other plans, so I'm wading through this mess with y'all, one thought-provoking topic at a time.
Hi, my name is Rena. I'm your other host. I'm a licensed social worker from the DMV. I'm an avid sneakerhead, film buff, tech enthusiast, and overall content creator. I aim to create in everything I do. I have been on my own personal self-development journey for the past few years after experiencing my own dark night of the soul, and now seek an outlet to share what I've learned, struggled with, and what I continue to absorb on my journey, because I believe that it can not only help myself, but others who may resonate with my stories and experiences.
And that's a little bit about us. This week's episode is titled Welp. That didn't go according to plan. This is also episode 20. I don't think I mentioned that. So I know, moving right along. So yeah.
So why this episode?
Yeah, tell us.
So why this episode? Okay. Because things sometimes they don't go according to plan. In fact, if you are me, they never do. And I believe Jess has also had some things not go according to plan. I believe everyone has had something not go according to plan, and it's easy to get fixated on it. So we wanted to talk about it and dig it down. We wanted to describe what our plans were, what we do when they don't go according to plan, and how we cope with that in the end of it.
Yeah, and I think for me, like this, Rena had introduced this episode before, and I initially ran from this episode because so much in my life hasn't gone to plan. And I'm just being honest with y'all, I was not ready to dick it down. But I think I've moved through some of those emotions and I'm ready now. So I hope y'all will enjoy this episode. It took a lot.
Yeah, a whole lot.
A whole
lot of ducking and dodging.
Okay, it really did.
Nah, she was like, I don't feel like that.
I so did.
She's like, I'm in the middle of this, not going according to plan, so I ain't got it right now.
I was like, I don't have it to give.
I totally respect, and I appreciate the vulnerability and the honesty. And it's crazy how, like, a few months later, here you are saying, yep, we can do it now.
Yeah.
And see, that's the whole point of this topic. So this is what we're going to do. Our agenda is to dick it down, as always, which by now, hopefully you know, and if you don't, stands for define, impact, and cope. So what we want to do is define what a plan is, and also define or describe some examples of things not going according to plan for us. Then we want to get into what the impact of not achieving our plan has been. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, we want to talk about how we cope with the realization that we did not achieve what we planned.
Okay.
And throughout the podcast, we will let you know which section we're in. We'll clearly state it to give you time to pause and answer if you want to. You can also jot down your answers and thoughts. These are all suggestions. It's just, part of what we do is we want you to do it with us because we want it to be a conversation, not just between Jess and I, but with all of us.
Yeah. But before we get to the episode, I do want us to head on into our mess section. And I'm going to ask Rena, what is your mess this week?
The mess is that I always forget the mess.
You do.
It is big too. It's so big on this outline. It's right in front of me. And I completely skipped over it. Like it wasn't even there. So thank you for bringing that up. The mess is, it's interesting. I'm dealing with something not going according to plan for me. I want my hair braided.
Okay.
And it's like my hair just won't grow fast enough for me. And I went to my second braiding salon and was like, "Can you braid this? Is this long enough?" Like, I'm like, "Can you do this?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "What you mean, no?"
Right.
I'm like, even if I blow dry it out, like I got hair, damn it. And they were like, "No, you have to wait." And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Damn.
They're like, you could find some other salon if you want to, and they'll braid it, and you'll spend $200, and they'll slip right back out, But they're like, we won't do it. And I was like, you know what? I just had to say thank you for your integrity. Even the people, they were doing two ladies' hair at the same time, and they were like, you know what? I appreciate your honesty because you could have just took her money, and that she could have just slipped out as soon as she slipped out the door.
Right.
Like, yeah. Yeah. So I just realized I have to be patient. I'm just really struggling with patience
Yeah.
right now. And that's what isn't going according to plan. I feel like I have this image of how I want to look.
Yeah.
I look this way before the summer is over, and that's not going to happen.
Okay.
I was like, I wanted my bucket hat with the braids.
I see.
When I wear a bucket hat right now, it just looks like Gilligan. But braids, it'd be like poetic justice, I have this image of what I want to look like and
I
who I
feel
want to
you.
be. And I don't want to be what I look like right now. And that's like that's what's pissing me off. And it's like, you are so much more than what you look like on the outside.
You better say that.
So I still want braids though, but I'm just have to keep growing it out.
Yeah. Are you doing anything to like advance the hair growth? Maybe taking
I
vitamins
don't
or
know about no vitamins. Actually, I do have a
okay.
multivitamin. Do I take it consistently? No.
I mean
So
it
there's
can help.
there's a lot I'm not doing.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the mess, that I'm a mess and I want something and I want it right now and I'm being told no. And that's just my relationship with the universe. And I just feel like it's not just these ladies telling me, no, you can't get these braids. I feel like the universe is telling me, no, ho, you can't get these braids. And I'm like, why can't I get these braids? What is it about these braids? And the universe
Wow.
is like, what is it with you in these braids? And I'm like, what is it with you in these braids? Why can't I
Wow.
get these braids? So yeah.
This is how you and the universe going back and forth.
This is what we do all the time. And then next thing you know, I
Wow.
slam my knee in a U-Haul because he's like, you won't do what I say, damn it. Here, focus on this pain instead and stop complaining.
Man, I'm gonna need you and the universe to have a different type of dialogue. That sounds frightening.
Working on it. It's stressful. Because I
Jesus.
won't take
Right.
no answer, or I won't just take wait for an answer.
Right. But sometimes that's the best answer. Because
It
then you
is.
slip out. If you don't wait, you get the braids, they slip out, you paid money, and now you're still sad. So maybe the answer is wait. Maybe the
It
answer is take
is.
your vitamins so your hair can grow, so that when you get the braids, they'll stay and you can have the look that you want. The universe trying to help you out.
I know. But like, you ever just get this idea in your head and you're just like, and this is why we're doing this episode, because I'm very much this person where I plan things and it doesn't go according to plan and I take it very personally.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're
Okay.
right. Because I know if I ask one more braid lady if they can braid my hair, she's going to say yes. And she is going to braid my scalp. And I will not have hair. When it slips out, it will slip out from the root, from the follicle.
Lord have mercy.
And I will be patchy and I will be mad and it will be my fault.
Yeah,
So you're right.
it
I'm
will.
glad I
Yeah.
brought this up. I'm just going to be patient.
Praise him. Look at God. Okay, come through, universe. She got the understanding.
Or you could just make my hair grow faster. Anyway, no matter.
Wow.
What's your mess?
Okay, so y'all know menstrual cycles, right?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm having to relearn what all of it is for me. Okay, right? So like when I was younger, like my menstrual cycle was very clear cut. Like I don't think I had any PMS. It didn't last longer than 4 or 5 days. I didn't have any, horrible cramps or anything like that. And I went through a phase in my life where all of that changed. My cycle lasted a little longer. I had cramps, I had PMS, all these things. So that's no longer the case because now I've been working out. So my pain is a lot less. I don't get very many cramps. But there's like emotional things that are happening, and I'm like, like I'm starting to like take notice and take track of like, okay, this happened the last time, right around the same time, like 3 days before my cycle started or something. Like my scalp is very sensitive, and I'm just like, that's weird. Like that's weird. So I don't know. I'm just having to like rearrange, like readjust my understanding of my body, what my body's doing, what I'm doing to help my body. I had so many chocolate cookies this week. When I tell you, child, I had so many chocolate cookies this week. So many. And then I also tried to use this cup that someone gave me, and that shit is horrible. I don't know. I need assistance. The cup, the period cup.
And you're supposed to like fold it and then like
fold it. But when I tell you this thing was big as fuck, I'm like, how? Who's folding this? Who's putting this in? Or maybe I didn't fold it right. But listen, the struggle is and was real. I said, you know what? I'm gonna just let this good old thing float to a pad. No, I did not. I did not get in. I did not. And that's why I'm frustrated because I'm like, who, how, what, why? Like, I don't know if it's supposed to go in. I don't know if it's supposed to just sit on the outside. And I'm just like, first of all, the idea of it kind of creeps me out. I'm not going to lie. Just holding around a cup of blood. I mean,
I have to think it's always fishing it out. Like fishing it out, getting it out. Like, once it's in there, how do you get it? I mean, I know how you get it out, but who?
Yes. And then it's like,
you just pour it out?
Is it going to be on my hand?
Of course it's going to be on your hand because they don't have like an extractor device.
That's what they need. I want an extractor. I want a device to put it in and a device to get it out. I don't know, y'all. I'm a mess, and I'm just probably going to be wearing pads for the rest of the time that I have a period because a cycle, because I don't wear those either.
I mean, at least those have a string, so you can just kind of pull it out.
Yeah, but those are a bit aggravating as well.
They say you're not supposed to feel it, but I always feel it.
Yeah, I haven't really. I tried. You know what happened? I tried when I was like 14 to use a tampon, but my mother didn't teach me. So I'm just, because she didn't use tampons. So I was trying to teach myself. And it was the cardboard ones, right?
Ooh.
So I put the whole thing in with the cardboard. And I was like, this shit is sticking me in my back. I was like, this is right. I think that scarred me.
You put it in there?
Oh, I took it out, Rena. But just the fact that it was like, I was like, I don't think this is right.
I mean, the cardboard is an applicator that you just push it in.
Applicator out. I didn't know that.
So you didn't know to pull that out.
A mess. But I think that scarred me for life, and I'm hella done. I'm hella done with tampons. I mean, I have used them on occasion when, that's all that anybody has or whatever. But yeah, I tried the cup and it was just disastrous for me. If any of y'all have any tips or tidbits that you want to share, slide on in them DMs and let me know. Because, I mean, if I could just have this cup, because, I guess it's sustainable as well. I wouldn't have to buy pads every month. It gets so expensive, especially I'm trying to use Honeybee now because it's Black owned and all of that, which is fine. But that shit is $9 for like 10 pads. I'm like, girl. And then
wait, $9 for 10 pads?
I'm exaggerating, but it's like $8.99 for like 16 pads, which, depending on your flow and all of that, then, you need more than 16 pads for your period if you're changing frequently, all those things. But I get the super, so we make it last, make it stretch that $8.99, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just a lot. That's my mess. It's a whole messy mess this week.
That's very messy. I want to get so much more into that, but
Another
you know what?
episode. Another episode.
Yeah, another episode. We're gonna move on. And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna dick it down, and we start off with the D, which is define.
Indeed.
So, Jess, you want to go first?
Oh, okay. So I asked myself, what is a plan? And y'all already know I had to go on over there to the great Google. And according to Google, a plan is a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something, an intention or decision about what one is going to do. And my personal definition was a strategy put in place so I didn't screw things up badly, a set of items to check off to ensure that things would go smoothly. And when I tell you I have done some amazing planning in my day, I'm not kidding. Anything from beautiful birthday parties for family and friends to trips and, wonderful excursions that are still some of my fondest memories. When I tell you I had my life planned out, child, it was down to the unrealistic T. Listen, so I plan to graduate high school and be married begrudgingly to a man at 20 and have all three of my children that I wanted before 25, all while pursuing my dreams of being a pediatrician. I was set in my understanding that this was how my life would go. Mind you, I couldn't even stand any boy I dated longer than 2 weeks. So I don't even know how I convinced myself I was going to like one long enough to marry. Lord, the delusions. The delusions.
It's a delusion.
But that was just like my high school plans, right? I quickly realized some of those plans were obsolete, but I just replaced the optics and my spouse had a sex change and I was on my way. I still had the plan. I still knew this is how it was going to go, right? But I never really stopped to fully think through the plan. But I knew I needed one to feel safe in the world, to feel on track, to feel okay. And most of the time, my plans went smoothly. And because of that, I began to rely heavily on them, believing that the plan was what was creating the smoothness of my life and the trajectory of things that were happening around me, until they didn't. Until the plans didn't go according, until things all around me began to crumble. All my plans began to be shaky. All the things that I foresaw for my future began to look, not good. And then that's where the trouble began for me in planning. So what about you? What is your definition of a plan, or do you have questions? Because I see you over here looking some sort of way.
No, you said something that really resonated with me, which was, you knew you needed a plan to feel safe in the world. And that the majority of your plans, things would work out and you felt like that was because of your plan. So, and I was like, oh, that is it. That is it. That need for control, it makes me feel safe. If I have a plan, I feel like I'm in control. I feel like I'm safe. So that just really kind of brought it home for me. So that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't do Google.
Okay.
So I just had a plan. My definition of a plan is a series of steps to achieve a desired outcome.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
What is something that I did that I felt did not go according to plan? Essentially, my life.
Wow.
I had a brilliant plan that I would go to school, I'd graduate, get a good, stable job, make $100K a year, and then coast until retirement.
Okay.
And then once I retired, I was going to do what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So when that didn't happen, I had to renegotiate my earlier plan. And then I decided I'm gonna just blow up my life and start from scratch. And I was going to give it all up, sell all of my things, go travel internationally for 6 months. And then I had this brilliant plan to move back in with my mom and live with her until I figured it out, because obviously it's her fault that my first plan didn't work.
Wow.
But before I could really put that plan into place, and I was probably like 3 months shy of putting this plan into place without my mom knowing.
Mm-hmm.
She got sick.
Damn.
And then that plan it jumped out the window.
Yeah.
That plan heard something, said, I'm gone. This is where I leave you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the biggest, the grandest event of shit not going according to plan in my life.
I know that's fucking real. I know that's real. Oh my God. I think it is interesting that you said, though, that you're putting all these plans into place, unbeknown to your mom, and here comes the universe like, let's just put a little halt on this plan you thought you had. And it's very interesting. I feel like a lot of us have these plans, all these future things. This is me. I'll speak for myself. I always have these future things that I'm like, oh, this is how it's going to go. And then also, once I've planned something and that thing is done, I kind of just let it be, So I got married, and I worked at the marriage, of course, but that wasn't even like a focus anymore. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to be married. I know this is a lifelong thing. Okay, I don't even have to worry about, setting up a situation where if I'm in like now, I have to think about who my emergency contact is going to be. I mean, it's such a small thing, but like just having to think about that now, I'm just like, wow, I didn't have to think about that. I just set it and forget it. I know who my emergency contact is for life. And that's just not true. You don't know shit for life. You know shit for right now. Okay, for those of you following along, we're going to move on to the impact of what this means for us. Right? Are we ready to move on, Rena?
Yeah, we're ready to move on.
Okay. So I guess I'll start. The impact of feeling like I needed a plan and defining planning the way I did being a significance for stability. I think that I planned my way into lives that I didn't really want to live for practicality's sake. So for instance, I went to college pre-med because I really do love science a lot, but also because it's practical. And I knew I'd make good money and I'd be able to take care of myself and my family. But my wildest dreams were always singing and performing on somebody's stage. But that didn't seem rational. And there wasn't really a clear plan for success in that realm. So I scrapped it and did what I should. And I've always done what I should out of fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of disappointment, not only for myself, but for my family. Holding on to the idea that I had to stick to a plan no matter how outdated it was for myself. And that kept me sad and burdened for a long time. I have now released the notion that my life has to look a certain way because honestly, my plans failed at sustaining my happiness, and it failed at creating the life that I thought it would. Like when I tell you the impact is that I leaned so heavily to my own understanding and to my own plans and to my own idea of how success would look that it took so much out of me when my plans failed. It was like starting over every time a plan failed, trying to start from scratch instead of recognizing like, that's not it. Shit gonna go how shit gonna go. And once I came to that understanding, I've been better able to like, and I think I'm moving on to the code, but I'll just say this and then I can let you say your impact, but I've just been better able to like live right now. No. So, okay, how have you coped with, or what's the
What's the
impact?
impact?
Sorry, what's the impact for you?
Yes, we are in the impact section.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just like in awe of some of the things you said earlier. Before we got into the impact, you said
Uh-huh.
something very important, which was you made these plans without, and the way I received it was you made these plans without considering any of the details.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're like, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy a plane. You're not really gonna consider how you're gonna feel about the plane or the maintenance of the plane, where you're gonna park the plane, you know? And that's how we make plans, especially when we're younger. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we get our lives turned over to us, and the whole time, you know, people are like, just do what I say, and they
Yeah.
don't prepare you to plan or, you know, to make steps. So you're just like, I just want this and I want that, and I want to eat ice cream for dinner every night, and you can, and you eat ice cream for dinner every night, and the best case scenario is that you develop just a really bad lactose intolerance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the best case scenario. Worst case
Seriously,
scenario,
you got
you,
no teeth.
yeah, I was gonna say you will pull back a limb, like pull back a nub, you
Oh,
know?
that too. That too.
Right. And then one thing that just, it really just hit me like right, just, you know, in between the eyes, when you said that your plans failed at sustaining your happiness
Yeah.
and failed at creating the life you thought it would. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That is it. So for me, my impact, things not going to plan, it forced me to stop and look around because I didn't. I wasn't paying attention to details. I wasn't paying attention to how I felt about things. Um, and it forced me to start considering things I had never considered before, like life coaching, astrology, spirituality. Like I was just grasping for anything. Like I just felt like I was falling, I was plummeting really fast, and I'm just grabbing onto anything that I felt like would just stop me from hitting the bottom.
Yeah.
Anything. Um, so yeah, I just, when it didn't go according to plan, I felt like it sucked me into the present because
Okay.
I never stayed in the present. I never existed in the present. It
Mm-hmm.
was always the shit I did wrong in the past
Yeah.
and what I want the future to look like. I never looked like right in front of me in the now, never.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but when everything just kind of crumbled, it woke
Yeah.
me up, and I'm a big doer.
Mhm.
So my plans got ruined.
What did
Uh,
it get?
ruined.
Okay, Stewie.
I ran out of plans.
Uh-huh.
I ran out of plans, and I got highly discouraged.
Mm.
And I lost my faith. I lost faith in myself, and
Mm.
my plans, and my ability to make a plan. And
Okay.
God, I lost faith in God. I was like, I just knew it. I knew you didn't fuck with me like that. You set me up this life. You set me up. So I
Yeah.
kind of just said, fuck it. So as like I said, I started kind of doing my descent down, and I started grabbing for things. And thank God, you know, now I say thank God. Uh,
Right.
uh, I grabbed on to, like I said, life coaching, astrology, all these things that I just kind of thought was just, what's the word I'm looking for? Just nonsense.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
fire.
because I'm a social worker,
Yeah.
so I saw life coaching as this unlicensed entity that just does whatever without regulation. So I was very much like, where are your letters?
Damn.
Where's that degree? So if it wasn't like, psychology, sociology, social work, something with like empirical research, I, you know, I didn't take it seriously.
Mhm.
So I got broken down to a blank slate, and all that thinking went out the window, uh, because I was just desperately looking for something.
Mm.
I even cracked open the Bible. I read like the first half of Genesis. I was like, yo, this shit is wild. Wild. To read the Bible without a pastor telling you what to read, you're like, this is a wild ass story.
It is.
And it was wild from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get back to it, but it was just, I was like, wow. But I and because of that, because I got rid of the plans and because I was looking for something and because I was open and I was blank, it opened me up to new possibilities because, you know, I was so sure that my plans were going to go right. So when they went wrong, I figured I must have been wrong about the other things too. And that really overall has been the impact. I feel like I was forced to redirect myself and consider things I had previously disregarded.
Yeah.
And what is crazy is that like all of my previous plans weren't anything I really wanted. Like you know,
Yes.
I just wanted something I was willing to settle for because I didn't think I could get what I really wanted.
Oh man.
I wasn't being intentional. I was just checking off a box. You know, I thought I was being practical, like you said, and I was just scared. You know, I had this dream in this fantasy world that I created, and I was content to live in that because I didn't think it could be real.
Yeah.
I didn't think any aspect of it could be real. So I'm like, I'm gonna just, work these 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I was just gonna live in my fantasy world. I don't even think I was gonna actually like do anything. I think I was just gonna like daydream on my couch in my fantasy world until I died.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm in my head a lot. So, it's not lost on me that all my plans failed. So there has to be a reason for it. And, I'm hard-headed, and I described earlier, like my relationship with spirit, source, universe, God, universe, source, spirit, Gus. And I think that's just it. Like, I'm just, I like to plan, and then the universe is like, we'll see. We'll see. Beyonce head nod. We'll see. Ain't gonna see shit. So that's me. That's my impact.
Okay. I really liked how you said you became a blank slate. And I feel like that's the beginning of something really magical when you can go to that blank slate. I think about like a canvas before I start painting anything because I love to paint just as a hobby. And that blank slate is just endless possibilities. Yeah. And when you leave yourself open for the endless possibilities, like literally anything is possible. When I was reading over our outlines and I saw how much synchronicity we had between us, I was like, that's wild. Just how much, planning really goes into living a mediocre life. It's like you didn't even want half this shit. That's not even what's making you happy. You're not even satisfied. You're not at peace. There's nothing right about this plan, but because you have the plan, you feel safe. And I'm putting that in quotes if you're not watching our YouTube plug. But yeah, you feel safe. And meanwhile, you're unhappy. Your digestive system's off track. You hate everything. You're irritable. You're irritated, but you've got a plan.
Yeah.
You stick it to the plan. I don't know. It's very, I don't know. It's very interesting. And I loved reading and hearing your perspective about it just because I'm glad to know that I'm not alone. I mean, I'm sad that you were there with me, but I'm kind of glad that I'm not alone in this bullshit that we've given ourselves. We feed ourselves bullshit about how this plan is safety. And in the end, when we took a step back, we realized like it's not safety. It's complacency, if anything. But I guess we'll move on to the cope now.
Yeah. You can move on to the cope.
Okay, so those of you listening, if you want to take a pause and pause now, we're at the cope, and just maybe figure out how you're coping with all of this newfound information. And I think for me, I cope by relinquishing control over the way it will look. And now I focus on how I feel to guide me through this life. I'm coping by leaning into joy for guidance. I'm coping by whispering to the universe my fears and watching as each day I'm being shown security in life that I didn't know was possible. There are some days at the end of my workday where I drive home, windows down, cool breeze blowing over me, and there are just tears of gratitude streaming down my face because, like, literally never in my wildest dreams, in my most strict plans, could I have ever imagined feeling as free as I do. I don't know what tomorrow or the next month holds, but I know that I'm being divinely guided and protected. And that's the best feeling in the world. Like, it's incredible to recognize that I don't have to do it all. I don't have to plan it all. My life can still be magical and beautiful and some sort of success, whatever that will look like and feel like for me. I don't have to do it all. And that is a weight off so that I'm lighter and I'm freer to experience life because I don't have to plan out every single aspect and every single detail for it to go to plan. Before in my life, if plans changed, it meant like a world of anxiety and stress. And now I can truly say, I know what is meant for me will work for me and do just that. And everything else that doesn't work is just lessons. And I'll continue to learn and grow with every single thing that happens from here on out. Like I just recognize like everything is everything and nothing is nothing. And by that I mean like I'm just here. I'm just here, man, and I'm just experiencing it. And sometimes I'm not gonna lie, there's still a little bit of fear, and I'll go back into those places of like, well, let me just figure out. And it's like, figure out what? Figure out what? The the deaths of my parents, my grandparents, the dissolution of my marriage, the idea that I am this thing, this idea of chasing perfection has not brought me to a place of peace. And at this place now that I am, where I can say like, I don't know, and be okay with it. And somebody can ask me, what's the plan? And I say, I don't know. I'm just here and I'm experiencing and I'm asking for guidance. I'm asking for my path to be illuminated. I'm asking for the way that I should go to be heavily influenced in my feelings. Being and sitting in that just feels so much more peaceful than a plan ever did. And that's how I cope. What about you? How do you cope? I see you over there cheesing.
Right, because I feel like what you just said was like really, really like beautiful.
Thank
You know,
you. Yeah.
and really happy for you that, it seems like your plan not going according to plan worked out for you.
It did. It did. And it is.
um, for me, how do I cope? First, I just want to say that my plan, now that I realize, just kind of talking through this with you, I realized that my plan was to not go after anything that I wanted because I didn't think I was worthy.
Mm,
So in order for me to follow that plan, I had to cut off my feelings
Jesus.
so that I could complete the plan.
Yeah.
So the way I cope is by allowing myself to feel,
Mm,
because that's my honesty, that's my integrity.
yeah.
My plan was to lie to myself, and my plan essentially was to not live. It was like just to kind of get through it and live in this safe bubble,
Yeah.
or and I just took things that I saw, growing up that I thought would cement safety for me, would guarantee safety for me. Okay, if I get a job, if I make at least this much, if I do this, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
With no regard for details, like the stress of having to lie to yourself to keep you on this plan,
Mm-hmm.
and how that can manifest,
Mm-hmm.
physically. And it's like, okay, yeah, your plan was to make 100K, but you're spending 700 a month on medication because you eat ice cream every night. and you're sad because you're sad. So that was it. So that is like, I think the biggest coping thing that I've been working on very recently is allowing myself to feel, because I thought I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I was avoiding. I was swallowing. I was repressing.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's my main coping thing. Reflecting on my previous plans, giving a lot of thought to what I wanted and why I wanted it. Safety. That was what I wanted.
Yeah.
Really thinking deeply, about what it is that I truly wanted. I also reflect on things that did go according to plan and ask what was different about this plan than the other.
Yeah.
And usually it's like, oh, because it probably felt better. It probably flowed naturally. You didn't have to fight to do it.
Right.
You feel like you had to sacrifice or compromise to do it. Another way I cope is in realizing very recently that things didn't go according to plan for me, or things don't go according to plan for me when I don't know myself enough to be clear in what I'm asking for from the universe, or they don't go according to plan when I refuse to honor myself and I'm asking for things without integrity.
Yeah.
So I'm lying. Saying, oh, give me this, universe. I want this. And the universe is like, that's not what you want.
Yeah.
You want the safety that you think that will bring, but that's not what you want.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I'm building a belief system where I consider the plans that didn't work out, and I'm considering them as happening. The plans not working out is happening for me, and not to me. And I think that's it too.
Yeah.
And holding that perspective, I think, is really key. That, okay, not working out, not because I'm a horrible person, I'm not deserving of things, or I'm stupid, or whatever you could come up with that's negative, and internalizing it as a negative thing and say, okay, now I'm like, when things don't work out, I'm like, okay, source, I get it. This ain't it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Like that. I'm not always so calm and eloquent. I'm working on that. I'm also probably like, why? Just like with the braiding scenario earlier. Why can't I just have this? Why? Because the universe is trying to protect my edges. But if I ask one more time, the universe is going to give me what I want to show me why I shouldn't have it. So I'm going to chill. I'm going to chill because I like edges. I have edges. I have full edges, and I want to keep them. You know?
Right.
So yes, usually I stay mad like that until I get this aha moment where I can receive, okay, it was probably a good thing that didn't work out.
Right.
And last but not least, how do I cope with all of these plans not working out? I just cry.
I know that's right.
Because it sucks. It sucks when you really want something, you really think you wanted it, and it doesn't work out. It feels like failure. If it's a fear, it's rejection, so I just get mad, frustrated, sad, and then I cry. I cry and I allow myself time to grieve until I get through it, and I get to a point where I'm calm, and then I can get to that aha moment and say, oh, that's why you can't get braids right now, because you really like having edges.
Right. Right. I mean, I think it's really beautiful just how we both have to relinquish. Like, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the recap. Is that, or were you complete? Was that everything?
I'm good. I'm finished. That is it.
Okay. So as always, it seems Rena and I are always like, we're on the same page in different stories. We both relied heavily on plans until they didn't work. And then we had to re-examine our plans and the reasons behind them until ultimately we both came to the understanding that source, the universe, God, may just have our best interests at heart when life doesn't go as planned. And that's exactly what you're saying. Like, instead of taking it as why is it happening to me, taking it as a comfort that this is happening for me to get to the space that I'm supposed to be in. Like, holding on to things. I've seen this said basically, like, if you're holding on to two ropes and holding on so tightly that you don't let go and are able to receive what could actually help you. You're holding on so tightly to what you think is helping you, and it's a hindrance the whole time. You're holding on to two weights while you're sinking instead of releasing those weights and grabbing onto the life jacket to pull you up so that you are rescued, so that you are safe, so that you can breathe. And it's just allowing control to look differently and understanding that we control nothing. We can control our reduction of anxiety. We can control our reduction of stress. We can control our breathing. These are things that we can control, and we can allow ourselves to be feeling very strongly and to be more in tune with spirit, into the universe, to Gus, to your guide, whatever your guide is, because you may not be a spiritual, being in that way, but whatever your guide is, being in tune with that and recognizing that it has your best interest at heart is just so life-changing. It's so world-changing for me. It's just been crazy. It's been, I don't know, I feel like I've grown in these past 6-7 months so astronomically. Like, I feel like I feel like I've just broken out of this box that I stuffed myself into. And it just feels free as fuck out here. I'm like, wow.
And it's because you released that janky ass plan you had.
Okay. Like, that plan wasn't shit.
So that last piece of your plan, you had to let it go.
Let it go.
And now look at you. Fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as a daisy. With my Jerry curl, as Rena liked to call it, because she rude to me. Okay, so now I think we're to shout outs, and I definitely wanted to give a big shout out to dear Lacey for being our support always, and also reintroducing this topic. It was something I needed, and dicking it down has been a little piece of healing I didn't know that I needed. Also, shout out to the universe for looking out for you, girl. Appreciate you.
Yes. Definitely. Thank you to Lacey as always. You know what? I want to give like a low key shout out to my friend Amber, because she's the person who always says Welp. She's like, Welp. That didn't work out, So I feel like that was like the energy behind this title.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank her for always using that word. Because whenever I hear Welp, it makes me think, well, that didn't work out. Or it's kind of like saying, oh shit, and shrugging at the same time. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah. So shout out to her for that. And just shout out to everybody who's still rocking with us, still listening. I really appreciate you all. We both appreciate all of you.
So much.
Yeah. Absolutely so much. So yes. Yeah. Yes.
Well, now I think we are to the meditation. Oh, did you have something else to say?
And I also wanted to thank you too, because this is something that we've been, beating you over the head with, this topic. And I just, when you said that you wanted to do this, I was like, really? Yeah. So, I thank you for being open, and I thank you for doing the work to get you to the point where you're open, because when we brought this up, you were like, Like you saw a ghost. You like, I don't like that. I don't like none of what you just said. I'm like, well, it didn't go according to plan. You're like, nope, nah, no.
I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready, but you got ready real fast.
Mm-hmm. So I want to thank y'all for bringing it up and sitting this with me and allowing me to have the opportunity to say no, but then come back to it and be ready. I actually cried while writing this outline, because it was very heavy for me, very deep, to just recognize where I was and where I am, and just the gratitude that I sit with is overwhelming sometimes. I'm just so grateful. Like I can't express it enough. The gratitude that I have for the universe allowing me a second chance. Is this what it feels like? It feels like a second chance at trying life out in a different way. It feels like a new story that I get to write and a blank canvas, like you said. And that resonated so much with me. So I'm grateful to you guys as well. So yeah, this has been a really amazing topic. I needed it. I needed it.
We knew.
Right. So I think now we're to meditation.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
With the meditation.
If you said what?
You may proceed with the meditation.
Thank you. So if you're new, this is my favorite part of the episode. And I want you good folks to join in with us as we do a little breathing. We'll take a couple deep breaths and then we'll set our intentions. So what we'll do is a couple deep breaths, we'll set an intention, and then we'll do another couple deep breaths. So take a big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take our last deep breath. All right, my intention for the day is to continue to allow my feelings to guide me in this world.
And my intention is to keep leading with integrity, being impeccable with my word, and asking authentically.
That's beautiful.
Support from the universe, yes.
I love that. Okay, we'll take our last set of breaths. Take a big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take our last big deep breath. All right, your intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish, sis. Today doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
So Lizzie, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in again. We just want to say thank you for your continued support. We love to hear all of your feedback on Instagram. We love to see you interacting with us. We love to hear the topic ideas that you guys continue to give us. It has been really wonderful. And we just want to continue to say thank you and show our gratitude for you guys continuing to listen.
Yeah.
Okay, and we did have just a couple closing remarks. I want you guys to get yourselves set up, get your calendars out. We are having a live Zoom event. It'll be a little meet and greet, an opportunity for us to dig down a topic face to face. We look forward to seeing you all there. That's going to be September 11th, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific time. We also wanted to remind you that the podcasts are also on YouTube. Should you ever want to watch us be silly while we dig down these lovely conversations. And I think that's going to be it for this episode. Is there anything else?
Yes, I want to add to that.
Okay.
So, first of all, I love all the interaction we've been getting on our posts with the questions that we've been posting and the responses that we've gotten. To add to the Zoom event, we're going to be posting a few topic ideas. So we really want you to keep that energy and we want your input. We want to hear from you. So we're going to throw up like 3 options and we want to know which one you like best because we want you to be a part of this. This is what we do when we do our podcast. We fight it out over the topic. I say, this is the topic. Jess is like, I don't like that. And I say, okay. And then we come up with a topic that we both like. And we want to do that with you. So we'll be posting that in the weeks coming up to the event. And I just want you to be on the lookout for that. It'll be in our stories. It'll be on our posts. And be sure to get your vote in and let us know.
Yes. So that has been it for this episode. Thank you, lovely folks, for continuing on and listening to the end. And I think that's going to do it. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
It's a mess.
Hey, that's why I can't sing.
It's okay. He's going to talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.